Welcome to my channel. Today's practical is about aspirin. Aspirin, yes, the painkiller aspirin. We are going to synthesize aspirin right here in my lab. And the aspirin is the common name for acetylsalicylic acid. Yes, you need 2 balls of banku to eat before you can pronounce it. Now, how do we produce aspirin, or how do we prepare aspirin? We prepare it by reacting salicylic acid with excess acetic anhydride. But the reaction between these 2 compounds is very slow, so we need a catalyst. The catalyst, you can use any strong acid, but we are using phosphoric acid as our catalyst. Then we heat it. After heating, then we have to cool it to get our aspirin. So I'm not going to do it alone. As usual, my colleague Lad here is going to help us to do it. So I'll hand over to him.
Well, viewers, the chemicals we are to use for this experiment are, we have the salicylic acid, acetic anhydride, phosphoric acid. So these are the 3 chemicals we have to use for the experiment. But our materials and apparatus we have to use are, this is my funnel, and you have my conical flask. You can see my stirring rod here, my filter paper, measuring cylinder, the wash bottle, my test tube holder. So viewers, as we are observing the experiment, all these apparatus and material I have mentioned, you will get to know their uses as we proceed for the experiment. So I will now allow my colleague to take us through the procedure.
Alright, so now you are going to start, and I need to wear my goggles, okay? Alright, so let's get started. Now we need 2 grams of the salicylic acid, and I've already weighed it because we don't want the video to be lengthy. No, it will be very boring. So I've already weighed it. This is here. 2 grams of salicylic acid, and we need 5 ml of the acetic anhydride. La, can you please pass it for me?
So this is a 5 ml acetic anhydride already weighed, already measured in our measuring cylinder.
Yes, so La is going to add the acetic anhydride to the salicylic acid. Then we start with the reaction.
So viewers, I'm starting. So I'll pour the acetic anhydride to my salicylic acid sample. Then I'll add 5 drops of the phosphoric acid. That's 4. I'll now add my final 5 drop. Then I will swirl it to make sure that you see that some samples are still inside undissolved. Because there are 2 processes. If you swirl and you see that some of the samples are still there in a bulk, you just use your stirring rod. That's the function of the stirring rod. And as I said earlier, to make sure that all will dissolve. Then you can still see that some are still undissolved.
Okay.
So that is the function of the stirring rod.
To break the lump.
Yeah.
Okay.
So viewers, all the samples have now dissolved. So viewer, the next step is we are now going to heat our sample, our solution. And how do we do it? We are now going to make sure that our hot water bath boils. The moment the hot water bath boils, then we'll off the source. That allow the hot water bath. Then we'll place our sample in the hot water bath for about 10 minutes. So that is the next step we have to do, and that I wouldn't be doing that. My colleague will do that, and this is how you do. You use your test tube holder, then you hold the mouth. You see, viewers, that is it. Then don't touch. When you touch here, it falls. So after you just hold this way, then I will now pass it to my colleague to do the heating for us.
Can you please put it down so that I take it? Alright, so our water bath has been heating for some time. So Lai is going to off it because it's boiling. So you off it.
So viewers, you can see that I'm going to off it. This is my saw. I've done that.
So after heating for some time, you realize that everything will be dissolving. Now the solution is becoming clearer. Yes, it's becoming clearer. Alright, so we have to place on it for some time. Yes, so as we are waiting, I will quickly say something that salicylic acid comes from the word salix. It comes from the word salix. It's a willow family of plants, and it was derived from willow bark extracts. So that is how we got salicylic acid. Yes. So I'm still doing the heating. That is it. Okay, so we have been heating this for 8 minutes now. 8 minutes. So it is time for us to add the distilled water. Now the water is going to expel the excess acetic anhydride. Yes, so Lau has measured the water already, and you add it to it. But when the water is added, there is going to be some pungent smell. When the acetic anhydride is being decomposed. So I'm not in nose mask. So Lai is going to wear his nose mask. He will come and hold it, continue with the heating. Then I can add the water to it little by little. So that is what we are going to do. So Lai is putting on his nose mask. So this is a precaution. You have to observe. Okay, he's done. So we are going to swap. So Lai, come here. Okay, you can continue with the heating whilst I measure the water. Okay. So Lai, please, is it time for us to add the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the water can be added in the last 2 minutes of the 10 minutes.
Alright. So viewers, let's observe what will happen. Something will happen. So let's observe as I add the water.
And viewers, as she's adding, you can see that I've turned the mouth of the conical flask away from myself, so that pungent smell will not get to me. So that is what you are supposed to do. Don't let the mouth of the conical flask face you, because that smell, viewers, unless you smell it yourself, then you know what it meant. Okay. So madam, you can add.
Okay, so let's observe. Okay, you see there are some bubbles coming out. Yes, there are some bubbles coming out. Yes, so the water is decomposing the excess acetic anhydride. Yes. All right. Okay. All right.
So we just allow it for the last 1 minute. This, we are not on our knife. We will allow it for the last 1 minute. Then we take it off the hot water bath.
Alright.
Because our last 1 minute is up, we just take it from the hot water bath, place it on our table.
Okay. Then we allow it to cool, right?
Yes, we allow it to cool by the help of adding what? 20 ml of distilled water. You know, when you add 20 ml of distilled water, it will help in the cooling, not only in the cooling, it will help what? to also form crystals. So
Crystals
that's
of the aspirin, right?
crystals of the aspirin.
Okay.
So that is our next step. So we will just weigh
The 20 ml of the aspirin.
the 20
Sorry,
ml
of the water.
of the water, distilled water. With this 20 ml of distilled water, then I'll quickly add. As I'm adding, you can see that some whitish. You see that some whitish thing is forming inside. You can see the whitish things forming. It means that is the aspirin forming. You can see the whitish things forming. So what we'll do, we just allow it to cool at room temperature. Then we'll quickly transfer our solution
to an ice bath, right?
To an ice bath, so that to induce more crystals.
Alright. Okay, so my viewers, after adding the 20 ml of the water, this is the end product. Yes, so that is the aspirin forming. But if we want more crystals to form, we have to put it in an ice bath. So that's what we are going to do. We want more crystals to form, so I'm going to put it in an ice bath to induce more crystals. Okay, so this is my ice bath. The water is chilled. So I'll just put it in it and I'll scratch the bottom of the conical flask. I'm not just stirring, I'm scratching. You have to scratch to induce more crystals. So this is about that, how we induce the crystals. It's very nice, I'm in love with what we've done. Very nice. So that is what we do. You have to scratch it in one direction. Okay, when you are scratching the bottom, your hand should go in one direction. Now I started with this clockwise, so I have to maintain it. But if you start doing this, it's going to spoil everything. The crystals will not form, so your hand should be in one direction. Alright, so viewers, I think that is okay. So our aspirin is formed. So this is aspirin, the painkiller. So that is it. So you are going to filter it, okay? That's what you are going to do. Alright, so I'm going to fold the filter paper. Then we'll filter our aspirin. Okay, going to filter. So Lai is going to rinse the one in the conical flask and we add it to it.
See viewers, but if you are rinsing it, you also rinse it with ice.
Okay.
Because the ice will still induce crystallization. But when you use,
This is ice here.
so viewers, you see, so this is my ice. You see that I'm pouring to the walls of the conical flask, so that I can rinse the crystals at the walls of the conical flask. You see that, yes. Then I'll pour it. Then I can do my final one.
Okay.
Just to make sure that all the crystals are washed. That is it then.
Alright.
Then yes, all our crystals have been washed from our conical flask.
So now we have to wait patiently for all the water to drain. Then we can get our aspirin. Okay, so we are done with the filtration. So let me bring it out for my lovely viewers to see. Okay, so this is the aspirin. Oh, it's very beautiful. I'm admiring what we've done. Very nice. So this is the aspirin. So La will take it to the oven to heat it for some few minutes for it to dry. If you don't have oven, you can dry it in the sun. Just that it's going to take lots of time. So I'll hand over to La for him to take it to the oven.
So viewers, I'm taking it to the oven. So observe me. When I get to the oven, there are certain things you need to know. Then I'll explain those things when I get to the oven, viewers.
Alright.
So viewers, I've gotten to my oven. So one thing I'll just on it. I've done that. Then my next thing is to set it. You can set the temperature in between 60 to 100. In between 60 to 100. I'm setting mine to 80. Mine is 80. Then you put my sample down. Then you see the oven, you have to pull it harder. You see that? I've opened my oven. So I'll just put my sample inside there for some few minutes. Then I'll close it back for some few minutes. So viewers, you see, so that is how you use the oven to dry your samples. Now viewers, I'm going back to my oven to see whether if my sample is dry. Just for some 5 minutes. I waited for some 5 minutes. I'm coming to check. You see, as I said, that's how you open it hardly. Oh viewers, my sample has been dried. As you can see it. My sample is dried. It's well dried, viewers. So my sample is well dried. So viewers, I will now handle my dried aspirin to my colleague who have a fill of it, because me, I've already have a fill of it from the oven. So now I'll hand it over to my colleague who have a fill of the aspirin.
Thank you. So this is the dried aspirin. It's very dried, right? It's very dried. Okay, so thank you, La. So this is how we produce aspirin. Not only aspirin, but other painkillers or other medicine in the form of tablets. When they synthesize it in the lab, it is in the form of powder. The way we see it in the form of tablet because they add certain things to it, like starch. So like this one, we add starch to it, then we place it in a machine, then the machine will fold it in the round, the circular shape. Yes, so the paracetamol and other painkillers, when they synthesize it, it's just like this powder that we can see here. So viewers, this is how we synthesize aspirin. It's very beautiful. So we have come to the end of today's activity, quite unfortunate. And I want to demonstrate, I want to show my fans how to synthesize paracetamol. Yes, I'm working on it. I don't have some of the chemicals, so immediately I get it, I'll show you how to synthesize paracetamol. But for today, we did aspirin. So thank you all for the support. You have been supporting me all this while. I want to thank my colleague La, to my cameraman Mr. Ajiman, he's smiling, and my video director Efo Felix. Yes, he's watching me. Yes. So I want to thank everybody. I will see you in my next